Most companies think consent is just a checkbox, a small tick, a quick I agree, and move on. But here's the reality. That tiny checkbox, it can determine whether your organization is compliant or facing regulatory action. Because under modern privacy laws, consent is not symbolic, it is legal permission. And if that permission is not valid, your entire data processing activity can collapse. So, today's question is simple. Are you collecting data or are you collecting valid consent? Welcome to our Data Privacy Awareness series. In our last module, we discussed privacy by design and default. If you have not seen this video yet, please check it out on our YouTube channel. Today's module is consent management. Let's break it down properly. So, what exactly is consent? Consent is a user's clear permission to collect and use their personal data, but not just any permission. Under the DPDP Act and global privacy standards, consent must be free, specific, informed, unambiguous, and revocable. Let's understand these in simple terms. First, the consent must be free. Now, free means that the user has a real choice. They are not forced. For example, if a website says, accept marketing emails or you cannot use a service, that is not free consent. But if the service works, even if you decline marketing, that is free. Now, second is specific. This means that consent must be linked to a clear purpose. You cannot say that we will use your data for various purposes. You must clearly state we will use your email to send order updates and separately for promotional offers. Each purpose should stand on its own. Third is informed. Now, informed means that the user understands what they are agreeing to. This means clear languages, short explanations, and no hidden surprises. If you're collecting location data, you need to say why. If you're sharing data with a vendor, you need to mention it. The user should not discover new users later. Fourth is unambiguous. This means that the action must clearly show agreement. The silence is not consent. Scrolling is not consent. Pre-ticked boxes are not consent. The user must actively click allow or agree or turn on a toggle themselves. Fifth is revocable. This means the user can just change their mind, and it should be just as easy to withdraw consent as it was to give in. If it took one click to opt in, it should take one click to opt out. That means the user understands what they are agreeing to. They are not forced, they are not confused, and they can change their mind later. So, consent needs to be free, specific, informed, unambiguous, and revocable. So, consent is not about getting a yes, it is about getting an informed yes. Now, let's talk about what makes consent legally valid under India's DPDP Act. The Act is very clear. Consent cannot be hidden in fine print. It cannot be bundled carelessly and it cannot be assumed. So, first, consent must be clear and affirmative. So, no pre-tick boxes, no silence interpreted as agreement. The user must actively choose to give consent. Second, it must be informed. You must explain the purpose in simple, understandable language, not legal jargon, not 10 pages of complicated text. Third, it must be granular. If you need location for delivery and email for marketing, those must be separate options. You cannot bundle them together. Fourth, it must be revocable. If it takes one click to give consent, it should take one click only to withdraw it. That is the legal expectation. And this is where many organizations fail: withdrawal of consent. They make giving consent easy, but withdrawing it is complicated, hidden, confusing, or impossible. For example, unsubscribing from marketing emails should not require logging into 5 screens. It should be simple, one click and done. Once consent is withdrawn, the organization must stop processing that data unless there's a legal obligation. So, withdrawal of consent must be one click and done. Simple and easy. This is the process to be followed unless there's a legal obligation. For example, financial records may need to be retained for tax compliance, but marketing communications, they must stop immediately. So withdrawal is not a request, it's a legal right. And if you ignore it, you expose your organization to regulatory actions. Now, let's look at some real example of consent. Suppose a food delivery app displays a pop-up. Are you allowing this app to use your location for delivery tracking? Now this is clear, specific and purpose-based. This is informed consent. Now here's the bad example of consent. So consent buried inside 10 pages of terms and condition document with no highlights, no explanation, no separation of purposes. The user clicks agree just to proceed. That is not meaningful consent. Now, in 2021, WhatsApp updated its privacy policies, and users felt pressured to accept expanded data sharing terms. The backlash was global, and users migrated to alternative platforms. The trust declined. So, we can learn here, even if something is technically legal, if it doesn't feel transparent, it damages credibility. And consent is not just compliance, it is reputation management. Now, let's talk about how organizations handle consent operationally. Most mature organizations use a consent management system. A CMS automates consent logging, consent collection, timestamping, and withdrawal tracking. Let's break this down. Now, consent collection means the system captures the user's permission properly. For example, if someone clicks I agree to receive marketing emails, the system records that exact action. Not just that they created an account, but that they agreed to a specific purpose. Consent logging means storing proof of that permission. This includes what the user agreed, which version of the privacy notice they saw, and what options were displayed. Think of it as saving a receipt. If someone questions you later, you can show proof. Timestamping. This means recording the exact date and time consent was given. For example, users gave marketing consent on 10 March 2026 at 3:42 p.m. This is extremely important during audits or investigation because regulators will often ask you when exactly was consent obtained. And withdrawal tracking, which means recording when someone changes their mind. If a user clicks unsubscribe today, the system should immediately log that action. And it should stop marketing communications automatically, not 2 weeks after, not after manual review, immediately. And without these 4 elements, consent becomes difficult to prove. And if you cannot prove consent, you may be considered non-compliant. If a regulator asks you, when did this user give consent, you need to show the exact time, exact method, and exact version of notice displayed. This is called an audit trail. Now, let's be realistic. Consent management is not easy. There are real challenges. First is consent fatigue. Now, users today see consent banners everywhere. Every website asks for cookies, every app asks for permission, and every platform asks to track behavior. And after a while, the users stop reading. They just click accept all to remove the pop up. So, this means the user may give consent without truly understanding it, and that weakens transparency and increases legal risk. Second is complex legal languages. Now, many organizations use complicated legal wording. For example, we may process your personal data pursuant to legitimate interest and ancillary commercial objectives. So, did you understand this? Most users will also not understand. Instead, it should say, we use your email to send product updates. So, complex language creates confusion, and confusion weakens validity. Third is multi channel data collection. So, today data is collected from many places: website forms, mobile apps, physical stores, call centers, chatbots. Now, imagine this scenario: a customer gives marketing consent in a physical store but later decides to withdraw it through a mobile app. If these systems are not connected, the marketing emails may continue, which creates inconsistency. So, managing consent across multiple platforms requires strong technical integration. And without integration, errors are common. Fourth is withdrawal synchronization. Now, this is one of the biggest practical challenges. When a user withdraws consent, that withdrawal must reflect everywhere. For example, a user unsubscribes from marketing emails, but the CRM system updates late, or the marketing automation tool doesn't sync, or the third party vendor still has the old list. The result: user will continue receiving emails. From a compliance perspective, this is a failure, and withdrawal must be immediate and synchronized. Otherwise, organization risks complaints and regulatory scrutiny. These real world challenges show something important. Consent management is not just about a checkbox. It requires clear communication, strong system, and continuous monitoring. Now, let's see a case study of an EdTech app. So, an EdTech app collected personal data of students under 16 without verified parental consent and then used that data for targeting advertising. The result: public backlash, loss of credibility, and regulatory attention. Under most privacy laws, including TPDP, children's data requires higher protection, explicit parental consent, and stricter safeguards. If you mishandle minors' data, the consequences multiply. This is not just compliance risk, it is ethical responsibility. So, let's summarize. Consent is not paperwork, it is permission. And valid consent must be clear, informed, granular, and revocable. Now, if users don't understand what they're agreeing to, you don't have consent. And if you don't have consent, you don't have compliance. In our next module, we are going to discuss privacy notices. Stay tuned for that. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel for more insightful content. Thank you.